Hey there, it's Eric with RegFox. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about integrating sponsors with your event. And this is really about how do you take sponsorship payments and even issue free attendance for sponsors for their guests. So there are a number of ways you can do this, and I'm going to propose what I think is the cleanest and best option, but ultimately it's totally up to you and you can do whatever you want, but just be considerate of the user experience here. So a common way to set this up, this is a sample event registration page, is people will add a sponsor down as a registration option, and they will combine the attendee and sponsor payments together on one event registration page. And that can be totally fine. So an example here is people choose a sponsor, then they can choose a sponsorship level. So you have gold, silver, bronze. You choose that, it opens up a sponsor name. Maybe you capture more details about a sponsor, and that's fine. Here's where it can break down. One is this is probably not the best way to sell sponsorship in this experience. So it kind of falls down in terms of a sales and value and what comes with the gold sponsorship. So it can get tricky there. It also can get tricky if, let's say, the gold sponsor comes with 10 guests that are for free. Now, you could do that all on one RegFox page and use a number of actions, but the user experience can get a little bit clunky because they're first going to register as a sponsor type, and then it's going to ask for 9 additional people in the individual. What's wrong with that is that most sponsors are not ready to become a sponsor and then also register their 10 guests. And so they might not have the names and emails and phone numbers of all their guests. Maybe they want to decide that later. And so what it can do so many times is hinder the ability for you to sell a sponsorship because you're also at the same time requiring that they provide you all the details of all the guests. So I really don't like this view when you are going to require all their guests to be registered at the same time they buy a sponsor. Here is what I would propose. Is I would have your event registration page just be about the attendees. And so what we can do is we can have links in the attendee registration page and give them details about how to become a sponsor. Ultimately, I think you should have a separate sponsor page. So here is one that I've built just as a sample here for you. You can see I've now got a branded sponsor registration page. And look at this, I now can properly sell each of these sponsorship levels. So the gold sponsor, 5,000, comes with 10 complimentary passes. And so now I can do a proper job of actually selling these sponsorships. And I can limit the gold and sponsor and bronze, but this is a great way to sell sponsorships. And then down below here, you can have people choose their sponsorship level. You can limit these if you want. You also can open up different details for the company based on the levels as well. I also down below here have a marketing assets section where people can attach a logo, provide a brief summary, and website. So I would highly recommend if you're going to do sponsor integration, you actually put it on a separate registration page. The other reason is because so many times an event is going to have a fixed capacity for who can attend the event. And so if you want to control the capacity and you have a sponsor and they're going to have 10 maybe names, sometimes people will just like put them in a text area, list the names, and that's fine, except it doesn't count as a real individual registration. So your capacities are going to be a little bit off. So we can fix that all with having the sponsors be on a separate registration page. So let me walk you through a couple things to notice on this. So on my standard event registration page for my guests, I've done a few modifications here. So I've removed the sponsorship level here. And what I've done is I've added a link up here to become a sponsor. So if I hit edit on here, I go down to the nav, become a sponsor. This takes me to that sponsorship page. So we have a nice handoff between the attendee registration page and then the sponsor registration page. So you'd use that link and you can incorporate that link anywhere else in the registration page. Let's say, for example, this text block here, you also want to say, and don't forget to consider being a sponsor. You can add a text link in there. Down below here, you also got to have a text area here and say, if you want to become a sponsor, visit this link and consider joining us today and partnering with us. And that also would link out here. So I highly recommend that you do that. So hopefully all that makes sense. Now, how do we give the 10 free sponsors for the gold sponsor. What is that process like? I would propose that the best and easiest way is when someone signs up for the gold sponsor and you get that email confirmation, you then go create a sponsorship coupon code for that sponsor. Same thing with the silver, same with the bronze. And so in here under coupons, you can see I have a few different examples where I have the Acme sponsor. If they become a sponsor, pay $5,000, great. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to issue them a coupon code, and I'm going to limit it to 10 people. That way people can use this coupon code and they can then view it on their registration page. And so this gives them the 10 free spots. So they can choose individual and they can enter in the coupon code here, hit apply, and they are able to register for free. The great thing about that is that the sponsor does not have to go and obtain all the attendee information. They can distribute that code to their internal team and allow individual people to register themselves with all the different preferences. It's nice and clean. The same thing is with the bronze and with the silver. So Awesome Co became a silver sponsor. Great. We're going to issue them a coupon code available for 5 free guests. You email them that code. Same thing with Dunder Mifflin. The bronze, they get 2. It's nice and easy. And the best part about that all is all of your attendee count is going to be correct. So whether they were free or they're paid, your attendee count is correct and you can have that all be tracked. You also, if you wanted to have when a certain coupon code is used, you can also open up fields and to determine which sponsor you're with. So you can also build in sponsor data that you're going to capture about the guest, the sponsor, if you want to as well. So really great setup there, but high concept here is separate your sponsor registration as a separate page than your guest registration. Let me take you to that sponsor registration page and let me show you a couple things here to keep in mind as you build that. So going back out here, let's go and edit my sponsorship page. And I want to show you a couple important things here. The first thing is under settings, under group registration, we want to make sure group registration is turned off. That is going to give us that nice, simple checkout experience where they pay and they go down and they just have the billing information. There's no option here to add additional attendees. So it's nice and easy for people to pay. So make sure group registration is turned off. Also on here, I'm going to go down. I'm also going to have a section, as I showed before, of sponsor details. So a common thing is give us the summary of your company so we can put it in magazines, brochures, and so forth. And also set a character limit for that description. So in this example, 750 characters. So if you want to capture additional details, you can do that, but a nice, easy experience just for sponsors, and it's not overly complicated with the attendee registration. The other thing I did on here too is I added up here in the nav the attendee registration. So if a sponsor comes back to where they purchased the sponsorship, they then can find the attendee link and you put in the attendee registration page there and they can click on it from the navigation and go register their guests. So simple and easy there. Another thing down here below is the billing. So sometimes a high value sponsor might want to write a corporate check. Maybe they don't want to put on a credit card, or maybe you want to save the credit card fees by a check. So you can go under here, hit the pencil icon, and then in here you can turn on offline payments and say, send us a check, provide the instructions, and then the system will allow someone to pay by check that way. I also in here in actions, I decided to only show the check when the gold sponsor was selected. So if I look at my example up here, I have the gold sponsorship. I can see I can send in a check. That's great. Now, if I go to a lower one, let's say I'm going to choose the bronze. Maybe I want everybody to pay with a credit card right then and there. So I choose that. And you notice the pay by check is now gone. So super easy and nice to manage there. To manage the communication, let's say that you want to immediately issue sponsors directions and details for how to redeem the free registrants. No problem. You can do that inside the email confirmation here, and you can provide all that instructions. As a valued sponsor, here is the link for your guests to register. We will email you the free coupon codes according to your sponsorship. So you can totally do that. There's one last way I want to show, and you can completely automate the entire process with the coupon codes, but I want you to use it with care. So we're going to publish that. We're going to go back out, and I'm going to go under the email center here and go to dynamic emails. And here is where we're going to send a sponsor follow-up. So we'll call it sponsor follow-up, and we'll give this the gold title. And then we're going to find our sponsorship page. And then we're going to say, we're going to send an instant email out to just the gold sponsors. So I can choose this and go next. And now here is a custom email that can be sent immediately to the gold sponsors. And this can have all the custom text. Thank you for becoming a gold sponsor. As a reminder, here's everything it comes with. Also, use the code GOLD2513 to redeem your 10 free registrants. And you can use a universal coupon code for your gold sponsors. The reason I'm telling you to be cautious with this is that you want to make sure that this coupon code does not get out and get shared. It rarely ever happens, but just want to mention that you would want to monitor the free coupon codes for the sponsors if you're going to automatically distribute a coupon code to your sponsors. So what a dynamic email is going to do is it's going to immediately send to somebody after they register with a custom email according to that registration option. So if you wanted to fully automate the gold sponsorship, bronze, silver, you put the details, directions, and you give them a generic coupon code they can use. But with that, that shows you all the most common ways that people are integrating sponsors with their event registration page. Hopefully this is helpful and hopefully you can see some advantages, but this is a really smooth way that we'd recommend. If you have any other questions, please reach out to our team. They'd be happy to assist and help you set this up if you need. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next demo.